Welcome to the ESI Africa studio, broadcasting from Enlit Africa. Today I am speaking with Patrick Mresige, who is the Managing Director of Korana Solutions. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Nicolette.
Patrick, I want to talk a bit about finance, but not finance in general, specific to climate finance.
Okay.
So first of all, explain a bit about what is the difference between strictly finance and climate finance.
Yeah. Climate finance, of course, is part of the general finance, but it is this finance that comes either from public or private institutions that is directly to initiatives that are creating developments that are in line with the goals of mitigating climate effects, especially for energy projects like we are saying. So finance that might be specifically leading to solar or wind or renewable projects, basically regenerative projects that do not harm or create negative impact on the climate. So that is climate finance.
Right. So there's been a lot of conversations and articles written around the fact that there is a challenge around getting climate finance.
Yes.
But is this a reality or just a perception?
There is a bit of a reality on that. It's not just actually climate finance, but it has really been generally finance, even as we have been discussing today. Financials are saying that the money is actually available, but getting bankable projects, good projects to invest in is the challenge. And the problem is that these investments do not happen in isolation of the ecosystem. They have to happen in a regulatory environment, a policy environment, a country environment. So investors are looking for good developers, but they're also looking to invest in a good environment in terms of the ecosystem, because then they are sure that their money is actually guaranteed to come back.
Right, and it is all about managing the risk.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about the role of private sector and public sector in financing, and specifically around infrastructure projects, and not only the power plants and the energy infrastructure, but also let's look at roads and water infrastructure.
Sure. The public and the private sector have a role to play. In the past, we had this belief that our governments should finance purely everything. But as days and years have gone, we tend to find that actually the public purse has also lots of other commitments on it other than infrastructure. So the evolution of private sector financing into infrastructure financing has to an extent mitigated on the burden of financing for public sector. So to that effect, private sector cannot go it alone, and public cannot also go it alone, because you'll find that the public resources available are inadequate to meet the financing gap that we are talking about. Today we are discussing, and there is an estimate of about 4 to 6 trillion US dollars that are required annually if Africa is going to catch up in terms of the financing gap for its energy projects, for example. So in terms of financing infrastructure, the private sector brings the efficiency as far as the business models are concerned, as far as the negotiations are concerned, as far as structuring a risk-sharing arrangement that actually allocates risk where it belongs. But we know that private sector financing is not charitable financing, it's costly. So when we blend that with public financing or any public involvement, then we are able to blend higher cost financing and cheaper cost financing. So the blend then becomes affordable infrastructure projects. On the other hand, we also know that because we have public sector sometimes involved, public sector is able to attract what is called concessional financing, financing that is priced at very low interest rates compared to the commercial financing. And that helps the financing, but also the affordability at the end of the day of the services that come from these infrastructure projects. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Nicolette. It's been a pleasure meeting you this afternoon. Thank you.
To all our viewers, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.